Today I am going to show you how to tear down and maintain your CO2 1911 pistol. Now this is the Springfield mil-spec version that's just barely come out. A really nice pistol, I've liked it so far. And it tears down just like the original, so it's a perfect one to show you how to do this. Now I've already made sure that the barrel's clear, that there's no BB in the chamber here, so we're ready to go. Remove the magazine, and this is the pin I'm going to push on here once I get the slide lined up. So pull the slide back so that this rear smaller notch is in line there. Push on that pin, and now I can remove the retaining pin here, and the whole slide comes off. Now I'm going to remove the barrel bushing. So I depress this here, make sure it's not pointed at yourself. The spring on the CO2 versions is not as powerful as on the real thing, but that can still fly off. Remove that barrel bushing. I can remove this, your guide rod here with the spring. And now the barrel and the spring just come out like that. I'll leave the spring on there in place at the moment. Now I can start to lubricate the contact points here. Now I'm just going to use Airgun oil to keep everything simple here. I like, usually I like grease on the metal parts, but we're going to use CO2, and that way we can lube up everything and not worry about your other oils, typical gun oils you don't want to use on CO2 pistols because they can get into the seals and cause you all sorts of problems. So Airgun oil is a great way to go, and it works just fine here. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of oil. Now you can see this groove inside the slide. That mates up with the male part here. We're going to just put a little bit of oil in there, just a drop every so often. Then we'll move the slide and get it all into place. Do that on both sides. So we've got oil all along the slide, and I can see that it's just naturally spreading along there, and that's perfect. Now I'm going to put a little bit of oil here. I'm going to touch it in there on these back parts. Now once you've cycled your gun a few times, you can actually kind of see where it's starting to rub. So I can see that I'm getting some rubbing here, so that makes it very simple. Put a little bit along there. Okay, so we've got oil in these parts that I can see are rubbing along the rail here. Now just looking in there, I can see that the lugs have been rubbing, so I'm going to put a little bit of oil right in those wells. And then I'm going to match that here by putting some oil on the lugs. Just cover that. Put some on the barrel here where the spring goes, the spring rides. Replace the spring. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil up here, and also right here on top where that rubs. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil just on the top here. These 1911s need more oil than a lot of your, more modern, kind of self-lubricating pistols. So go ahead and put some oil on there and keep it lubricated. So now we're ready to put everything back together. So the first thing, put the barrel in. Guide rod and spring back in. And the guide rod is actually the only thing on here that I noticed that was actually oiled already, so we didn't have to do anything there. If yours looks dry, then go ahead and put some oil on it. Place the bushing here. Just fit that in, twist it around, locks into place. And now this slide can go back on. Now go ahead and line the slide up again here. And with that in line, we can actually just drop that directly in and we are ready to go. So I'm going to just leave the oil that I've got on here and just give it a nice light film everywhere. Don't really have to worry about this rusting, but got a little bit of oil coming out the back, and that's just fine. I'll wipe that off, and then just actuate the slide, and you're ready to go. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more essentials.